This episode has been sponsored in part by our friends at Veeam. Are you tired of juggling the cost of AWS backups and recovery with your SLAs? Quit the circus act and check out Veeam. Their AWS backup and recovery solution is made to save you money, not that that's the primary goal, mind you, while also protecting your data properly. They're letting you protect 10 instances for free with no time limits, so test it out now. You can even find them on the AWS Marketplace at snark.cloud/backitup. Wait, did I just endorse something on the AWS Marketplace? Wonder of wonders, I did. Look, you don't care about backups, you care about restores. And despite the fact that multi-cloud's a dumb strategy, it's also a realistic reality. So make sure that you're backing up data from everywhere with a single unified point of view. Check them out at snark.cloud/backitup. Good morning, AWS. Somehow we are in the beginning of week 3 of reInvent, which is an awful thing that should happen to absolutely no one. A few things have happened with AWS last week, and more is coming this week, I'm sure. But let's cover the nonsense of last week before we turn our eyes to yet another dreary week of this nonsense. Amazon Aurora PostgreSQL integrates with AWS Lambda. That's right, our long national nightmare is over, and our database can now integrate with Lambda functions. Wait, what? Amazon Bracket Tensor Network Simulator supports 50-qubit quantum circuits and narrowly averted a warp core breach in the process. Amazon Redshift launches the ability to easily move clusters between AWS availability zones. Even Redshift has had enough of AWS's egregious cross-AZ data transfer pricing. Amazon VPC announces Reachability Analyzer to simplify connectivity testing and troubleshooting. Look, I've seen a few crappy internet takes about calling this ping or traceroute, except it costs 10 cents a pop, and I think that those takes miss the point. Those tools don't tell you which security group rule is blocking a connection. This thing does. Check it out. Announcing Amazon Forecast Weather Index. Automatically include local weather to increase your forecasting model accuracy. That's right, predicting the AWS bill is impossible, so AWS is instead starting with predicting the weather, because that's easier. Announcing Amazon Lookout for Metrics. As the AWS field fills, service teams are resorting to increasingly unorthodox means to name services in a desperate attempt to get attention. Just ask the team that made Amazon Holy Crap Run, It's a Bear for containers. AWS announces AWS Audit Manager. I don't even care what this thing costs. If I can give it to my auditor, and in return it gets them to leave me alone, it is worth whatever it charges me and more. AWS IDE Toolkit is now available for AWS Cloud9. You may have forgotten about Cloud9, but someone at AWS just remembered it a few days ago. AWS CloudTrail provides more granular control of data event logging through advanced event selectors. That's a lot of words to say what's really actually useful and important. You can now use data event logging in CloudTrail without breaking the entire bank because that thing was fiendishly expensive once upon a time. AWS introduces Amazon SageMaker Edge Manager, model management for edge devices, and Data Wrangler, and Feature Store, and Jumpstart, and Pipelines, and Distributed Training, and Clarify, and some enhancements to Model Monitor. All of those terms start with SageMaker. It's a veritable SageFactory. Introducing Amazon HealthLake to make sense of health data. The real purpose of this service is, of course, to signal to healthcare and other regulated industries that AWS is very much open for their business. In the works, AWS region in Melbourne, Australia. Melbourne gets its own region now that AWS has learned to rack servers upside down. This episode is sponsored in part by Chaos Search. Now their name isn't in all caps, so they're definitely worth talking to. What is Chaos Search? A scalable log analysis service that lets you add new workloads in minutes, not days or weeks. Click, boom, done. Chaos Search is for you if you're trying to get a handle on processing multiple terabytes or more of log and event data per day at a disruptive price. One more thing for those of you who've been down this path of disappointment before, Chaos Search is a fully managed solution that isn't playing marketing games when they say fully managed. The data lives within your S3 buckets, and that's really all you have to care about. No managing of servers, but also no data movement. Check them out at chaossearch.io and tell them Corey sent you. Watch for the wince when you say my name. That's chaossearch.io. New, Amazon EMR on Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service. EMR can now run on Kubernetes, two technologies you shouldn't be using, except that due to an escalating series of poor decisions, you're locked into them both. New for Amazon Code Guru, Python support, security detectors, and memory profiling. I ran some truly terrible Python through this thing, and it found no errors. I get that they've got to walk a line between nagging you to death and finding truly egregious errors, but given that it's a paid service that returns a simple, looks good to me, ship it, in way more time than it would take me to not review pull requests manually, it doesn't feel great. Watch for more on this front. Introducing Spot Blueprints, a template generator for frameworks like Kubernetes and Apache Spark. They have to call it Spot Blueprints because just letting you have the CloudFormation and Terraform as well, which is also supported, outputs of things that you click in the console is way too radical of a concept for AWS, so they have to dress it up as something different. It's a huge win across the board. Look into these. Automating Hyperledger Fabric chain code deployment on Amazon Managed Blockchain using AWS Code Pipeline. That sure is a lot of words to say we will never be trusted with anything even remotely important. Amazon EC2 instance-level network performance metrics uncover new insights. Seriously, look at these. There are a series of metrics to figure out that it's AWS limits that they put on networking that's causing your problem instead of your crappy configuration. Usually it takes a series of support escalations to get there. Detecting sensitive data in DynamoDB with Macie. Ooh, does Macie now support DynamoDB? Of course it doesn't. Let me save you some time. You do this by dumping your DynamoDB tables to S3, and then Macie can analyze them there. But wait, there's more. New Amazon S3 sessions at AWS reInvent are coming on January 12th through 14th. Oh my God, they're subjecting us to more reInvent. And that's what's going to happen, I guess, in a few weeks. But that's what just happened last week in AWS. Thank you for listening. I'm cloud economist Corey Quinn, and I'm going to go curl up and die because I can't stand this conference anymore.
This has been a Humble Pod production. Stay humble.